Why didn't Jesus speak? Because he was...
Eva, Eva, ask me the price for the paper. Looking on the later. Eva, Eva, ask me the price for the paper. Looking on the later. Eva, Eva.
Okay, and it's 30 minutes to the top of the hour. The man himself is here. Uncle Ebo Whyte. I don't know if I should clap or I should bow or I should give you a standing ovation. Let me just say it was a great weekend.
Thank you very much, and I was glad to see you there again, once again, sitting in front this time. So thank you, thank you for coming, and thank you to all our patrons who turned up for a crazy ride. I appreciate every one of you. Then I've been overwhelmed by the response to my one-man show, A Crazy Ride. Many people ask me, how did you manage to pull it off? I understand why people will ask that question. At 64, I am not that much of a young man anymore. In addition to that, I have not performed on stage since 1992, when I was the lead role in The Devil's Wife. I have never sung on stage, and so the question, how did you pull it off, is a legitimate one. This morning, I'm going to let you into what it took to pull off a crazy ride. One, trust in God. The first secret is that I put all my trust in God. In the Bible, God says, I'm the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not be afraid, I will help you. I took him at his word and counted on that help. Two, I made it a teamwork. The show was billed as a one-man show, but it was so only in name. It is true that on the day, there was only one man on stage, but behind me were very dedicated and capable people whose inputs made the show possible. First, there were the staff of the production department of Roverman, whose task was to vet the content of the show and ensure that it would work on stage. And they took their job seriously and forced me to revise the content 4 times. Then there was a directorial team made up of Andrew Adote, Bella Jibrila, and Eja, whose task was to push me beyond my comfort zone. They were not there to flatter me or make me feel good, but to demand excellence from me. Next was Dominic Ansan and Joseph Apia, whose task was to help to teach me to sing for the first time in my life. And then there was a medical team led by Dr. Roberta Lamte, who ensured that I was in top shape. And these are apart from the usual team of stage managers, front office managers, and so on. And every one of them took their work seriously. For instance, the second show on Saturday, September 8th, went beyond the planned time. And as soon as I came off stage, Kobna Yabua, that's KY, who was responsible for the technical aspects of the show, came into my dressing room and said, Uncle, it is not acceptable that you go over the time. You have to ensure that you keep to the time we have planned. So how did I pull it off? I made it a teamwork and I allowed myself to be managed. 3, I am the CEO and artistic director of Roverman. But this show, I became nothing but an artist and allowed others to take control. I became subject to the directions of the team working on the show. And it was fun watching others take control of the show. For instance, a few days before the show opened to the public, Elsie, head of production department at Roverman, and the other staff in the department sat me down and gave me the same pep talk I give every cast. A few days before any production, I would sit the cast down and tell each of them what I thought of them, both at the personal level and also what I thought of them as performers. And then I would end the session with, quote, trust in the process you have gone through preparing for the show. Don't second guess yourself, but go on stage and enjoy yourself, because if you are having fun on stage, the audience would also have fun, end of quote. Well, on this occasion, I was a cast, and so Elsie and the team took turns to tell me what they thought of me and my performance so far. And then Elsie ended the meeting with, quote, Uncle, trust in the process you have gone through preparing for the show. Don't second guess yourself, but have fun, because if you are having fun, the audience also would enjoy it too. End of quote. 4, I put in the hard work. I have a principle in life that I have drilled into all those I work with. And this is the principle. Pray as if everything depends on prayer, and work as if everything depends on work. So yes, I was trusting God, but I knew if I did not do my part in putting in the hard work, it was not going to work. I've always kept a healthy lifestyle, but for this production, I added jogging to my usual 5 to 8 kilometer walks, and I also started rehearsals from 2 p.m. and it went till 5 p.m. between Tuesday and Thursday, and all day on Saturday. And at these rehearsals, everyone present was encouraged to critique my performance. 5, I was mindful of what was at stake. My motivation for the show was very high. I was doing the show to honor God for sparing my life, but there was another level of motivation for the show. I lead a theater group with about 100 members. I direct a play every quarter. I push people beyond their comfort zone and demand excellence of every cast I work with. And now, I was going on stage. I knew that if I blew it, I was finished as a director. How can I go on stage and mess up and demand excellence of anyone? Besides, I wanted my performance to be an inspiration to young people and to all those who often feel that life is leaving them behind. I wanted them to understand that it is never over until you give up, and it is never too late. So, for each of the 8 shows, I carried with me the burden of being an example of who a performer ought to be, and the burden of putting up a show any young person would watch and take inspiration from. And because the motivation was that high, I had no other option but to do the very best I could. And finally, 6, I believed I could do it. The trust in God and the hard work and the team's efforts would all have come to nothing if I did not believe that I could pull it off. Right from the day I announced that I was going to do a one-man show, I was bombarded with skepticism from all over. Many people laughed at the very thought that someone like me with my age would go on stage. One person asked me, "Uncle, you know that the show is 2 hours, right?" What he was implying was not lost on me. Like many people, he doubted that I could stand on stage for 2 hours. Many people told me that they could not wrap their minds around how I could do it. In the face of all that skepticism, I had to build a strong defense of self-belief. I knew myself better than anyone else, and so it was not up to those who did not know my inner core to tell me what I was capable or not capable of doing. And so I would listen to the skeptics, but inside I was smiling and remained unshakable in my confidence that I could do it. I realized that a lot of people allow the voices of others to become their reality. I ensured that my inner monologue had nothing to do with the voices around me. And then, that is the secret behind a crazy ride. And for all those who supported, from sponsors to patrons, thank you very much.
And just like you did on Saturday and Sunday evening, you take an ordinary life experience and we draw from it lessons for the rest of our lives.
That's right.
I enjoy every morning that you come here, Uncle Ebo Whyte. Let me say a special good morning to the entire Roverman team, both behind the scenes and those who joined you on stage. I'm sure they secretly enjoyed bossing the boss around.
Oh, they did. They did. But their time is over.
Uncle Ebo, I just want to ask, did the singing lessons ever end? Because the voice we heard, Uncle Ebo.
Well, it will be ongoing. I've already
God.
told Dominic that we should keep it going.
We bless God. We bless God. It's a good thing. I'm told you had King Promise on Sunday.
Oh, yesterday, yes. And he was a good sport. When I raised his song, because I sang his song, he jumped on stage and took it over.
Wow.
So we danced together on stage, and it was huge. And the day before, Eugene had also turned up.
Yes, Kwame Eugene. I was sitting right behind him.
Okay, all right. And it was wonderful having him there. And with him also, we did his song, "They Are Causing Confusion."
Yeah.
Just to honor him, because it was a joy to have him.
Even though it hadn't been planned, you mentioned it.
Yes.
It wasn't part of the
No. We hadn't rehearsed it. It was when he turned up. We didn't know he was going to come. But as soon as we knew, we were told that Kwame Eugene was here, we decided we would would honor him, because for an artist, there's no honor bigger than somebody performing your work before in your presence. It's one of the highest honors anyone can give you.
It's good. Uncle Ebo Whyte, God bless you.
Well, and thank you for coming.
We are hoping that
coming around.
Well, thanks for having us. We are hoping that you do another one of these.
You realize that I haven't said anything. I haven't said much.
Okay, Uncle Ebo Whyte, I'm going to turn your mic off now. James Ebo Whyte. He's a man I love too much. Okay, we are moving into big stories in a moment here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM.